Yes, I got.
Welcome back to Family Legacy Podcast.
Did you forget the name of our podcast?
I didn't practice it. So, welcome back to episode 4, I think. I don't know. We're very unorganized. I don't like this beginning.
Do you want to... and cut. And take 2.
Take 2. Welcome back. We've had some changes in the Family Legacy Podcast set. We've got a backdrop. We've got some updated lighting. We fancy. Full transparency, it has been way too long since we recorded the first couple episodes. It's been a couple
You could tell by my hair.
months.
My hair will
You can tell by
you.
my hair too.
Yeah.
So we are back. This is, I guess, would be episode 4, if we're keeping track in that way, of Family Legacy. Again, if you're just checking us out, welcome. Hope you guys are enjoying the content so far. This is our family legacy, our family history, our story. We decided months ago that this is something that we wanted to do, even if it was just for us and our kids, something to leave for them, or something to be good for us, kind of therapeutic for us to just share our story. There is so many people that know us, that see us, have been through the journey of the last year with us from afar, year and a half, but don't really know us. So this is what God said. Hey, once you guys start this, we
and really 20 years. Like this is
right.
20 years of
for the first few chapters. Hopefully, many. I'd say 20 more, but that would only. Yeah, hopefully I live longer than that, but I never know. Whatever God wants.
God knows. Not us.
We are very unscripted. If you've watched the first couple, or if you know me, that kind of gives me some agita. But we do have
That's
an outline.
how I live my life.
We have an outline, kind of know what we're going to talk about, unless we hit squirrel. So yeah.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. That was our theme last week. So let's jump in today. We kind of left off at the end of high school graduation. We kind of want to backtrack a little bit. There's a couple things that we wanted to get into today. The crazy thing, and we've talked about this, and if you know us, you know our story. We had a lot of friends in common, but we never actually met. Like you,
or not that we knew.
Well, we didn't know that until later.
Right.
So
like we could have met and not even known it.
Right.
We weren't supposed
to. But yeah, so we had friends. Again, we didn't know it, but we had friends in common. Some of the kids that I went to youth group and youth group with, Maureen hung out with extracurricularly.
Well, we went to high school together. We were friends in high school.
So, you end of high school was in Pine Bush. I spent a lot of time kind of out there.
Yeah.
We could have met, but we have said, since we found that out years ago, it's probably a good thing we didn't meet in high school, because I don't think you would have liked me, and I don't know what I would have thought. I was just an idiot, so probably would have been head over heels for you then too, but you wouldn't have liked me. I was... Well, you were into some of that other extracurricular stuff that I didn't partake in, so I don't know. That might have been like... But I don't know. But yeah, so anyway. So that's just something that we kind of left out, but it's kind of part of who we are.
Mm-hmm. So, junior year, the first half of junior year, and a little bit before the summer, I was living in Missouri. We talked about that in a previous episode. And I decided that I was going to go into the military, Air Force specifically. And I wanted to jump out of airplanes. That's what I was going to do.
I always find that so funny because you're like really short and afraid of heights, and
I'm afraid of heights now. Like, I'm not afraid of heights. I just can't do roller coasters and stuff since having kids.
Yeah, I didn't know back then. It's I don't know. It's always been funny to me. I was gonna jump out of airplanes. And, like,
I used to
that's
love
the
roller
opposite
coasters.
of who you are.
Yeah, I used to love roller coasters.
Sorry, I know. Go ahead.
So yeah, I like really close to signing the papers to go my senior year. Then I met a boy, and that kind of changed everything for me. I had all these, goals, and I was gonna do all these amazing things and travel the world, and I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do as a career. Like, there was a whole bunch of things, I wanted to be a lawyer, and I knew that I was going to go to the military and then college and then be in a career. But, God had different plans for me, I guess.
Yeah,
or I made decisions and that kind of changed things. I don't know how to.
Well, I think both and. I mean, free will. But we've always said that if you had gone to the military, we probably never would have met.
Right, and I wouldn't have Xavier, and that was a pretty defining moment for me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do I look back on it and wish I wish I would have done it? Yeah, I probably could have done both, but there was some other things there. I don't know if we want to get into all that.
Not right now, I don't think, unless you want to.
No, because we're not talking about that part yet. But
Okay.
Just my dreams. I wanted to jump out of airplanes and be in the military. I chose the Air Force because of my grandfather. Like, he was in the Army, before the Army and the Air Force split in World War II, and he was a bombardier, and I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to be in planes, in the military. And I'm bombardier. Yeah, I lost him so young, so I think he was like my hero, and I was just gonna do everything I could do to kind of follow in his footsteps.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
I
don't know where it was gonna go after that. Like, I really don't remember. I just knew I really wanted to be a lawyer. Like, I was really going.
You like arguing?
I do.
You're kind of good at it sometimes.
And I like defending people.
Oh, you're gonna be that kind of lawyer?
Well, knowing me, I probably would have been like environmental, hippie.
Yeah.
Lawyer, but yeah.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, you mentioned your grandfather. That's something else that you and I have in common is both come from a family history of being in the military. Not us, but our families.
Right. Yeah.
And a rich history, a strong history.
Yours, I think, even stronger than mine. Like, it was like I don't really know too much before my grandfather and his siblings, but like all of my grandfather's brothers were in the military during World War II, and all different branches. Like, my one uncle, he was in the Navy, and one of the, I think it was the USS Franklin that got, I could have the name wrong, that got hit by a bomb and went under, and he survived that. And my grandfather was a prisoner of war, and so like all of his brothers, obviously the girls couldn't go to war, but all of his brothers, but I don't really know anything before them. Like, I think his parents came over from Ireland, so obviously.
Yeah, I don't know anything before my great grandfather, but he was obviously who he was, and
right.
At all the peace treaty signings that were big history, and he was a 3-star general, and both my grandfathers, my dad's dad was in the Navy. I don't know much about that, but then my mom's dad was in the Air Force, Major General. I wanted to go into the military, but they wouldn't take me twice. They wouldn't take me because of my respiratory stuff.
Right.
So.
I think like my generation are the first in my like the Corcoran side.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think any of us went in to be in the military. Because like my dad's cousins were, my dad and my uncle were.
Yeah, I don't see Sean or Eric or maybe Vicky. I don't see any of them going to the military.
Yeah, like
I mean,
I don't.
again, this is
I mean,
later.
some of the other cousins might have, because my dad has a lot of cousins. So like maybe some of their kids, but like my dad and my uncle's kids, none of us
Mm-hmm.
went in. So it kind of stopped there. I know it's kind of like squirrel, but
Yeah. Well, I think the next one we're getting into is a squirrel left turn, but that's okay. Squirrel.
but if you know me in real life, like this is how I am.
So the one thing I said at the end of the last recording episode, I got to get the vernacular down because these are not live. This is still weird to me. There was a couple people that sort of intentionally skipped over to be able to go back and not to put emphasis on any one person and leave somebody out. Like obviously, we talked a lot about Dave and Rachel, who were very instrumental in my life. If you watched the last one, we'll actually talk more about them later on in our story. But a couple people that were very instrumental in our life. The first one, I guess I met senior year, a guy by the name of Lance Pennington. You heard me shout him out. Lance, I love you. So going back, 9th grade, I went to Harmony. 10th grade, I went to Chapel Field. 11th grade, went back to Harmony. Senior year, my coach, who I had junior year and freshman year, got real sick and was no longer able to coach. So Lance had daughters at the school, and he decided, hey, I'll come and I'll coach basketball. I had played basketball also at Chapel Field. What I didn't know until a little bit later was that, and I think I'm bouncing around, but it'll make sense in a second. Lance literally lives like across the street from Chapel Field. So what I found out years later was he was just doing coaching out of the kindness of his heart so we could play, and so we had so he went to the guys at Chapel Field and said, hey, I'm going to be doing this, help me out, give me some drills. If I remember correctly, he didn't know anything about basketball, really, coaching at the time, but here I am, punk, jerk, all the things. My senior year, I was a captain, and here comes this guy from doing drills that I knew were from Chapel Field, doing all these things that were from Chapel Field. And I don't remember exactly how that part of the conversation went, but I wasn't happy. And I don't remember what transpired exactly to the events I'm about to share, but we were at an away game, and we were on the court. I think it was a timeout, and Lance came out, and he said something, and I have no idea what he said. But I walked off the court. As a team, we walked off the court. Lance went back to the coach's chair. I picked up a folding chair and threw it in his general direction. I don't remember if I was trying to hit him or just...
It was a lot of years
ago.
ago.
Yeah, that was 20 plus years ago. 23 years ago, I think we established last time. So that was... And I walked out the gym. That was it. I quit. I was done with basketball. I was a senior. So I threw a chair at him, and that was the end of that. It wasn't until years later that I actually saw Lance again, and there's some more, but I think we'll leave part of that. But
yeah.
I wanted, because it's a funny story. I mean, it sort of. It's funny now. It wasn't funny in the moment. But Lance is somebody that throughout our later years, after we've been married a few years, Lance is somebody that, and Nancy, his wife, played a very pivotal role in our lives.
I think, like, kind of like in the beginning, of our, not like the super beginning, but, you know, pretty early on in our marriage.
Yeah.
And for quite a few years after that.
He's still somebody that I consider a friend and a mentor. Whenever I go home, or I know I can always call him.
Yeah.
I don't do that as often as I should, but and then so the other people that I alluded to but skipped over, and are two people that if you're watching this and you know our story at all, you are probably amazed I haven't mentioned them yet. It's kind of on purpose, and again, I don't want to glorify or lift up or put two people on a pedestal more than you should any other human being, but these two people, if it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't be here. The husband I met was actually 8th grade. I didn't really click till later, but I met him in 8th grade. He came into our school as a substitute teacher. 9th grade, he was our Bible teacher, was also our gym teacher, which...
If you go to a Christian school, you know, you don't do just one job, you do many jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes ones that you aren't qualified to do.
He was qualified to do both. He was getting ready to go to Bible college at that point, or knew he was going to go to Bible college. He was fresh out of college. Went to Fordham University. He was qualified to teach gym, or PE, gym as we called it,
athlete.
Because he was a star soccer player. So if you haven't guessed or you don't know, Josh and Denise Stewart are two people that absolutely just, kind of like Dave and Rachel, for no reason, took me under their wing. I have spent countless hours, days at their house.
Yeah.
I literally watched Josh and Denise's kids grow up. Caleb was about a year old, I think, when I met them. There's pictures of me, young punk high schooler kid pushing little Emily around in her stroller. Emily was our flower girl.
Yeah,
at
it's
our wedding.
a deep friendship.
Yeah, it's
Where
it's one of those,
it's
been 30 years, something like that, from 8th grade or 9th grade till now. All through high school, Josh was only at Harmony for a year, but that started our friendship, and then even after high school and all through stuff we'll get into later, they were there. Some of the best conversations I've had, some of my encouragement that I pass on to others I've gotten from Josh, some of the funniest stories, some of my best memories outside of my wife and kids are with Josh and Denise. Freshman year, I remember I was a bigger kid, so I didn't like to run a lot. So when we played soccer in gym, I was always the goalie because I didn't have to move. We set it up in the gym in a couple cones 10 feet apart, and Josh is a world-class soccer player. And I don't know if I knew that or just didn't care, but the first time he kicked the ball at my head, wow, I've never seen a ball travel so fast. One time it hit the edge of my finger and I thought my hand was gonna fall off, but
I've never heard that before.
No?
The story.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun. So again, he was qualified to but Josh has also gone on to be a pastor, and he's one of the people that has again mentored me through thick and thin, has pushed me, has encouraged me. Again, so is Dave and Lance. And again, later on, there's just some things that throughout our marriage and our stuff we'll get into a little bit later, they've just been there. They are the people that, when I look back, they are the people that God absolutely put in my life for many reasons. And again, like I've said, that we want to always pay it forward. We want to encourage other couples, other young people, and especially those three guys, and Bill Binney talked about it a little bit too. They are just people that poured into my life, and at a time that I didn't really some of it I didn't really understand. I didn't know what a mentor was. I didn't know that I needed encouragement. I didn't know that at the time, 20 plus years later, I would be in ministry and counseling other people and encouraging other people, and I would draw on their wisdom. Didn't realize back then that our marriage would need that example. Again, Lance and Nancy are they all of them have had great marriages, great relationships. Lance and Nancy to me are again, not to elevate somebody, but that we spent a lot of time, and again, this is kind of jumping the gun a little bit with our timeline a little bit, but we spent a lot of time in their living room, getting marriage counseling and just even doing life together, and so that's become a big theme, and so
they're the first people that I realized, like, that I was in a small group with, and realized how important small groups are.
Yeah.
So,
You mean Lance and Nancy? Well, Josh and Denise too.
Well, yeah, but Lance and Nancy were the first. I think they were the first ones we were in a small group with.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe. I don't know. It was a long time ago.
I don't know. It was a really long time ago.
But so
and we've had 2 kids since then and a whole bunch of stuff. So I don't know. My timelines could be off.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If you want to throw one on those points?
No, we'll get more into our relationships with those 2 couples when we talk about our first few years in marriage and our life in New York.
Yeah, fun times. So let me just encourage you again. We have people in our lives now that are so meaningful. But if you have someone that God lays on your heart, or if you have a young person that needs some Jesus, needs a hug, you never know what that will do.
Yeah. Because you don't bring people to Jesus and show people Jesus without relationship.
Yeah.
You can't just I guess you could, but it's not going to go anywhere. Beat people over the head with the Bible, and you need to be saved, and you need to come to Jesus and all of that stuff without relationship. Like, that's you need to show people and build that relationship. And we have so many examples of relationship and super special, friendships that I think that will always, no matter how long it, how much time goes on talking, it just, those relationships are super special.
Yeah.
Super special. I don't know what I just
said.
That
5 times fast.
Yeah.
So, if you have somebody like that, you never know what one conversation is going to do. And again, you never know, we talk about it all the time, and I truly believe that people are in your lives for a season. And there's some people, like Bill Binney. I haven't seen or talked to Bill only once in the last, I don't know how many years, but he was so impactful. Josh, I can call him right now. He might answer. It's a Sunday night here where we're currently, so he's probably recovering. But there's people that are in your lives for a season, and we have people that we've mentored, and you don't always see the fruit. But I believe very strongly that if it wasn't for Dave and Rachel and Josh and Denise and Lance and Nancy, that I know I wouldn't be here. I know we wouldn't be married. We wouldn't have the family that we have if it wasn't for at least those 6 people.
We wouldn't have the legacy.
Yeah. So as much as this is our family's legacy, you guys, the 6 of you I just named, are absolutely a part of that. So if you ever see this, thank you. We love you more than we can say. That's all I got. That was a lot.
That was a lot.
So tune in next time. Hope you guys are enjoying it. Again, if you have questions, if I'm remembering something differently, which is very possible, hit us up. Instagram, like we said, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. You're on Twitter, apparently. WhatsApp. You said
Yeah, I do. Oh,
Okay,
sorry
there's
for
our
the
dog. So I think that's.
I am on everything.
Yeah.
Not that I use everything, but I do have a count on everything.
I don't have it Twitter. Anyway.
We'll see.
All right. We love you guys. Love, peace, and chicken grease.
Bye.